with episode 2.
Episode 2 of Dead Time Stories with Chinry
and Sean.
Hope everybody had a good couple of weeks. Good little holiday in between.
Yeah.
We won't specify, try to keep this year neutral. But hope everybody enjoyed themselves either way.
I'm sure everybody got full.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do you want to start this week or you want me to?
I can go ahead and start. We'll just swap off,
Sounds good.
I'll start this week. This week I brought a very famous hotel. It's in Red Bowling Springs, Tennessee. It's located in the upper Cumberland region of Middle Tennessee in an isolated corner of Macon County. It's the infamous Thomas House Hotel. Now, I've been there about 8 months ago with Rosie when she turned 10. Because she'd been begging me to go ghost hunting. You can go with Daddy, you won't have a daddy-daughter ghost hunt. You know what I mean? She loved it. She actually slept. I couldn't sleep a wink when we were there, man. We were hearing all sorts of crap. Like there was shit knocking, tapping, door slamming, and it's like me, her, and another couple from Memphis, and we had the whole place to ourselves because we got it during the off season. It was in May during her spring break.
Yeah, I can't wait till my youngin is old enough to take her to stuff like that and like football games and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah, she was.
I bet that was a lot of fun being able to get that out there with.
We stayed at room 37, which is the infamous Sarah's room, the most haunted room there. We'll get into that as well too. But anyways, let's do some history on it first here. Macon County, which was formed in 1842, had no basic rivers, to travel through in the dense mountain forest by wagon was difficult at best. The nearest navigation port was the Cumberland River near Hartsville. The Salt Lick Creek happened to be the most remote section of the county. Some sources claim Suki Gord discovered the power of the mineral springs as a treatment for her dropsy. These the Red Bowling Springs get its name from the minerals in the land, and these minerals.
Yeah, I've been up there Red Bowling a couple times. It's not bowling.
Yeah, Red Bowling.
But
that's what it's known for, is its minerals. Now on top of that, before the hotel was even established, because it wasn't built until 1890, I think. Yeah, 1890. There was a bunch of bloodshed already on the grounds because the Civil War came through there. There's a lot of you had the War of the Northern Aggression.
The War of Northern Aggression?
Yeah, Union supporters mostly occupied Macon County. 4 companies of Union soldiers originated from the county, while only 2 Confederate regiments were raised.
I'm pretty sure that's what...
The war came through there during September 21st of 1861.
1861?
Yeah. That's when Captain Ridley West and Captain Joseph L. Bryant organized Company H of the 28th Tennessee Infantry of the Confederacy in the Webb Hotel located near the current Main Street in Whitley Hollow Road.
So before they even put this little swanky hotel,
yeah, it already had.
There was already
blood soaked in the ground there.
That's crazy because if you've ever been to Red Bowling Springs, there ain't fuck all out there.
No, there ain't shit out there.
This is pretty much the.
If you blink, you'll miss it.
For
like
100 miles? No, probably not that much. But
you drive through, you blink, you'll miss it.
Oh yeah,
like it's nothing
there, man.
Yeah.
People say they live in Red Bowling. It's like that's because that's the closest thing that anybody knows what it is because it's all country out there.
Yeah.
There's some moonshine stills in Red Bowling Springs. I'd put money on.
It's straight up straw hats and tractors. That's all you see is farmland. Farmland
and inbreeding.
Yeah.
The same things that go on in every little small country town.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's see. In late 1861, Dr. James Carson Weir transformed a portion of the Webb Hotel into a temporary hospital. They call it when they first started building the area right there, they had it as the Webb Hotel, it looks like. Later on down the road, by 1876, Captain James D. Bennett, owner of the local general store, had purchased the land containing many of the springs, and he built a new hotel. The Bennett Hotel, which was essentially a series of log cabins next to a central wooden dining hall and a ballroom for nighttime dancing. As wealthy patrons began visiting Bennett's Hotel, Nashville newspapers began mentioning the springs and the hotel in Red Bowling Springs. That's how it came up. That's how people found out about the mineral springs. They're like, oh, what's this going on out here?
Yeah.
News traveled.
That's great. So it's kind of set up how Starstruck Farms is. Have you ever been out there?
No.
It's on 109 before you get to Gallatin, like before you get to the bridge. It's on the right. It's called Starstruck Farms. They've got like yurts and a big dining hall.
Oh.
And it's like you can bring a camper and long-term camp there, but like it's pretty much just this big hippie farm. I'm pretty sure it used to be Reba McEntire's property.
Oh, shit. Probably. Well, with this free advertisement throughout the late 1870s and 1880s, it acted on to bring even more medical tourists out that way. Shaughnessy's Hotel. That's what. Shaughnessy's Hotel was originally located on the site that the Palace Hotel was later built upon. At that time, Henry James Cloyd operated one of the 3 general stores in the area. The Cloyd General Store also served as a post office and received mail 3 days a week. In 1890, the railroads reached Carthage and Hartsville, Tennessee. This allowed visitors to Red Bowling Springs to travel by train within 30 miles of the village. By 1890, Red Bowling Springs supported 2 hotels, Red Springs Hotel and the Cloyd Hotel, which was later dubbed the Thomas House Hotel because the new owners.
What kind of name is Cloyd, though?
The Cloyds.
Cloyd.
Yeah,
Like,
Cloyd.
Cloyd?
And there's actually a picture of the original Cloyd behind the service desk. When you go in there and you go up to the service desk, there's a picture of him back there.
We'll put a link to that picture in the episode notes.
Yeah.
And we'll put a link to the website for this place as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's infamous. Like you've had there's been ghost hunting teams like you got Ghost Hunters, Jack Osborne's Portals to Hell. He's been through there. There's been like numerous. There's been a lot of people. It's been investigated a whole lot. The Cloyd Brothers Hotel was opened before July 1890 by Zachariah Wheat Cloyd and William Clay Cloyd near an old Shawnee Native American trail to the Salt Lake. The 2 Cloyd brothers that created the hotel were the sons of Thomas Jefferson Cloyd, 31st of May 1811 to 20th of February 1890. In 1894, the town changed its name to Red Boiling, one word, Springs, just to confuse historians.
Yeah, that's really going to throw them off your scent.
So they named it Red Bowling as one word.
Yeah,
instead of Red Boiling.
Yeah, Red Bowling.
Which we were talking about earlier.
I guess it is Red Bowling on the signs, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no space. I guess I never really noticed that. Yeah, so I'm sure I don't know, people back in the 18 and early 1900s weren't very smart.
As devout, this is where it gets juicier. As devout Presbyterians, the Cloyd family decided around the turn of the century that their guests would benefit from the church next to the hotel, which they just recently torn down. We'll get to that in a minute. But
sweet church ruins.
Yeah, and they called it the Cloyd Chapel, which was right across the street from the hotel, so people can go there on Sundays for church and stuff. Because they're, like I said, they're Presbyterians.
They could go swing in the hotel and then go repent at church the next day.
Now, because of the popularity of the springs in the town, by 1905 the city was listed as Tennessee's tourist attraction in Richardson's Southern Guide. The town was known for hosting Germans, coalitions, masked balls, themed costume dances. Guests played tennis, billiards, and pool. There was a pool, I mean. Hotel baseball teams played teams from Walnut Shade. Guests seeking a quieter relaxation found trout fishing readily available. Cloyd Hotel provided patrons with bath housing feature. It's called a double and twist waters. This is where it gets crazy because people started drinking this shit thinking it's a miracle cure because they go bathe in it, they, not knowing that it has like high levels of like petroleum and shit in it.
Yeah.
And it's got like it's because of the water. It's called double and twist. The water was so full of dissolved minerals that it was considered unsafe to drink. The water name comes from the idea that if you actually were to drink the water, you would double over and twist in pain. That's where they come to name double and twist. Because you're not supposed to drink it. It's like really hard water. You're not supposed to drink it. It's got a shit ton of minerals in it, including petroleums and shit. Like, it's not made to drink. It's okay to bathe in and stuff, but it's not good to drink. People were drinking it and fucking dying out there and shit, not realizing that it's because of the water is so hard. The water is so full of minerals. So by 1914, automobiles began to be able to reach Red Bowling Springs. Around 1917, the Tennessee Central Railroad began contracting with the Red Bowling Springs and Carthage Auto Line to shuttle guests from Carthage to the Springs. The Louisville and Nashville Railroad formed a similar shuttle service from Hartsville. The use of automobiles reduced the drive time from rail terminals to Red Bowling Springs to approximately 3 hours, so people can go out there and relax, come back in 3 hours. The death of Thomas Cloyd on 14th of March 1915 left a gap in management for the Cloyd Hotel. In spite of their best efforts, the family struggled to run the operation for the next year. Ultimately, in the mid-1916, the Cloyd family could not pay the hotel's expenses and lost control of the hotel. Just as the automobile began to accelerate visitors to the village, the hotel was sold to Joseph H. Peters of Nashville. Peters continued to run the hotel under the same name. Around 1916, President Woodrow Wilson and his entourage stayed at the hotel, so it has president stayed there as well.
Oh, Woodrow Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't really know that.
It survived 2 fires. In 1924, a fire destroyed the original wooden hotel. Under Peter's direction, the new brick, which is now today, was built in 1927.
1927. That's almost 100 years now.
Yeah.
Just a couple years.
The hotel features over 50 rooms and 2 community bathrooms. Patrons were expected to bathe in their rooms using water pitchers and basins, which they still have the antiques in there today. You can still see those.
Don't use them.
You just don't use them. They got them on for decoration. They've modernized it now, where each room has bathrooms and stuff in them, and showers and stuff like that.
That's cool that it used to have like you see in the movies.
So by the 1930s, the Cloyd Hotel operated one of the area's 4 bathhouses. The treatment of the bathhouses included alternating hot and cold treatments, as well as mineral water. Additional services included body shampoos, massages, and electrotherapy. Pretty interesting. But it's even had cults live there.
Cults?
Yeah, like I said, it had 2 fires. Another one happened, I think, in 1992 or around 92. Another fire, it burnt like one of the wings, and they had to replace the wing and stuff. So it's a fire. There's actually a fire mantle in the seance room there. When you go inside, there's a fire mantle. That fire mantle actually came out of, I think, the Maxwell Hotel down in Nashville. I think it's the Maxwell, something like that. It was a huge hotel down there, and it fucking burnt to the ground. And that fire mantle was like the only thing that like survived. So they took it and put it in the Cloyd, or now the Thomas House Hotel. Because you can actually see the glass where it's cracked up on the top right hand side. You can see the glass where it's all cracked and shit. You can see where like fire has scorched it. Like it's pretty crazy piece of history. Crazy. This guy's sitting there in the fucking seance room of all rooms. They call it the seance room because during like the 80s, apparently there was a cult that moved in there, and they bought the place, and they had a cult living there.
Damn.
Supposedly it was like they're like an Armageddon cult, like they practice like necromancy and shit, like they're trying to talk to the dead. They practice like chaos magic and shit, and they fucking used to have like rituals in the back.
Damn.
Out by where the slave quarters are and shit, which are off in the back right side of the house. And they've had eyewitnesses, like people reported them out there in a big circle with like the contractors and shit. Some secret organizational shit going on in the back. And then like the next day, like you don't ever see them again. They just vanish. Shit, like this is like during the 80s and shit. And of course out there it's like, we don't like your kind around here, so they like ran them out. You know what I mean? That's how it is up in the hills and the hollers and shit.
Yeah,
we don't like all that devil shit. So they ran them up out of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The
Thomas family took over, and that's what's now the Thomas House Hotel.
Mm.
But the hauntings, we can get to the hauntings here. The hauntings, there's several spirits. There's a guy who apparently like fell off the bridge and died over there. There's also a kid, this is what I was talking about earlier with one of the owners, David, who lives there. They all live on site. And when he was a real nice guy too, man. I walked in there. He's got Parkinson's real bad, so he has a walker, and that's how he gets around. He's like one of those walkers, you know what I mean? He has to get around like that because, like I said, he has Parkinson's disease real bad, so it's hard for him to get around. But he's a real nice fella, and me and Rosie went there and talked to him. He was giving us some history about the place when we stayed that night. And he was talking about this kid, Edwin, here, who drowned in the swimming pool back in 1969. And they closed the pool. They just got done demolishing it here not too recently, like that and the church across the street, because it was decrepit and it was all falling in. It was unsafe, so they basically took it out. You know what I mean? They demolished it.
Yeah.
But the child, Edwin, died in the pool, and he said that one time he fell in the kitchen there and he couldn't get up. He said this little boy came in and he's like, "Oh, son, can you go get me some help, please?" The boy didn't say anything, just took off.
Yeah.
And then like 10 minutes later, the other owner came in there and found him and got him up. And she's like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, thank you for help. You know, I guess that little boy found you." And she's like, "What little boy? There's no children there."
Damn.
He described it, and sure enough, he described it to a T. It was that Edwin kid that died in the pool, which is like right outside where the kitchen area is out there. So then you got the infamous Sarah Cloyd. She was the daughter of the, or not daughter, I'm sorry. Yeah, she's a child spirit. I'm not sure I think she's a sister of the Cloyd brothers. Yeah, I think she was a younger sister. She's either a sister or a daughter of one of the Cloyd brothers. But she's probably like 8 maybe. And every time anybody sees her, she's always holding her stomach. So they don't know if she like drank the water there and died, or if she got poisoned somehow and died. But she's only been seen twice, and it's usually by children, which is why I took Rosie with me just in case.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? Because she wanted to go anyways. And we're staying in Sarah's room, which is room 37.
Yeah, that's crazy though that she only like.
They say that she like
appears to children, you know.
Yeah, and she likes to play up and down her hallway. They got 2 main hallways in there. They got one called the dark hallway, which is apparently an elemental lives in that hallway. There's a mirror, a circular mirror at the other end of the hallway that they've actually got photo evidence of orbs coming in and out of it. This old antique mirror. They got the whole place is like riddled with antiques.
Damn.
So there's no telling what kind of spirits they got in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, sometimes I reckon spirits attached to an item and not necessarily a place.
Yeah.
You know?
But, yeah, there's several. Like, she's one of the notorious ones, Sarah. And across the street, they got that church over there. They think there's a demon that lives in the church, which is one reason I think they tore it down. That and it was decrepit. But there's a priest or a preacher that worked there at that church, and he was doing some shady ass shit in the town. Like, he was like taking money, and he was doing like shady things. And they end up having a good old fashioned, lynch mob. They gonna take care of his ass.
Damn.
And he ended up hanging himself in the church. And by the time he got to him, he's already dead. You know, because he already knew it was gonna happen.
He knew they were coming for him.
Yeah, they knew he was coming.
Damn.
Because you're talking like early days where they're like, especially in here in Tennessee, it's like, well,
wild shit going on in little.
we don't fucking like your kind around here. So yeah, and they think that he hid some money there. They don't know, but they think he hid some money in the church. And there's also rumors that he may still haunt the place today because there's like an evil presence over there.
Damn. Like even where the church used to be.
Yeah, before they condemned it. But I'm gonna end there on mine.
Yeah, we're looking forward to.
But we plan on going out there.
Yeah, I look forward to going out there and checking that shit out.
It'll be my second time.
Yeah, I'm always a skeptic until I see evidence or proof. You know.
Oh, like this shit.
And videos can be fucking altered, so I don't trust anything I see on TV.
Yeah.
Most of the time. So
I didn't know a lot of the evidence we got until after I came back and went through the editing process and I had the audio turned up. And there's like we're hearing all sorts of shit, and I don't even know it because I'm like more focused on Rosie to make sure she don't get any stuff or knock something over. And I'm like totally like
yeah.
But in the meanwhile, like I'm hearing like doors slamming and shit. I'm like serious, like I'm hearing a whispering and shit. Like on the mic, like we didn't hear it then. Like we heard it sometimes. You can even see Rosie like on the Thomas House, the overnight video we have on the YouTube page. Mm-hmm. That video, that's the one we shot like 8 months ago. You can even see like she's like real sensitive. She's like, "Daddy, what was that? I heard something knocking." And like sure enough, I go down and I stand for a minute. You can hear like in the distance or something. I was like, "What?" But yeah, I'm gonna turn it over to you. I know you got some interesting things here.
Yeah,
I did brought today. You're telling me about it.
Probably a little bit of overcorrection on trying to make sure I had enough information for mine this week. So I wanted to make sure I took up more of your time, dear listener. I brought the 5 strangest places bodies have ever been found.
Oh man.
So I was thinking about what to do this week, and why not fucking with the dead? They're dead. They don't care.
Right.
The first one. She's known as the Mexican JonBenet Ramsey, okay? Her name is Paulette Gabarra Farah, which, that's 2 words. It just kind of rolls together really well. She was 4 years old, and her mom put her to bed, and everybody woke up the next morning, and they could not find her. So they did a whole thing on this girl. Oh,
she just vanished?
Yeah, nobody knew where she went. The maids and cleaning folk, whatever they're called, cleaning folk, I feel like is accurate.
Oh, housekeeping and stuff?
Yeah, that's it. I can't. English is hard, especially when you're from the South on a public education. So this was Sunday, March 21st of 2010. So this wasn't that long ago. It was almost 15 years ago.
Oh.
She was disabled. She was very disabled little girl. 25 weeks premature.
Oh, so she was physically disabled.
Yeah, so she was physically disabled and mentally disabled. Just before that, she had gone missing. The family went on vacation without her.
Just leave her home with the housekeeping?
Yeah.
Or nanny, I guess?
Yeah. Lizette Farah, Paulette's mom, she went to Los Cabos with a quote-unquote friend. That's It just says friend. So I'm assuming that was a finger in the hole
Booty call.
type friend. And Mauricio, their 7-year-old daughter and their 4-year-old. Oh, so no, they took her on vacation. She went with them.
Oh.
I read that wrong. I'm dumb. Told you, public education. They got home to their apartment that Sunday, and all around 9, when they put Paulette in bed, they strategically placed pillows around her to make sure that she doesn't like roll off the bed.
Instead of like a proper
They-
crib.
Yeah, right. Because she's 4. I guess.
I mean, they got where especially if she's premature, she's probably not that big.
Yeah.
I mean, so she's not like a regular 4-year-old.
So on the 30th, which is 9 days after this little girl has gone missing, they bring in all the housekeeping and the nannies and everybody for interrogation, which is like super long. You know, you should be questioning all of them way quicker than that. This is part of the reason why this case is so crazy, is because like the police.
It sounds sus already, because if you have pillows around your child, why don't you just have like an actual crib instead of like, well, I'm just gonna makeshift this crib real quick.
Well, I hadn't got to
pillows.
it yet, but Mauricio was like wealthy. You know?
That's what I'm getting at. If they got housekeepers
like,
and shit,
your 4-year-old should be in a bed. You know, you got to think about like the culture and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So they probably got rid of it because you know they.
True, but I'm saying is, if it's premature, you should have like at least a railing on one side.
Well, I mean, she was still 4 years old, premature or not, but she was very disabled and whatnot. So I mean, they probably could have gone through some steps to prevent anything like that. But while Mauricio was being interrogated, he said, and I quote, "Yes, I know where Paulette is, and I'll tell you everything if only you help me, because I don't want to get in any trouble with the law. I'm scared of going to jail. I'm hella sus." He didn't fucking get into nothing else out. He says that shit, and they're just like, all right, cool, dog.
Prime suspect.
So the next day...
What else you want to tell us?
The next day, March 31st, there was said to have been a strong, unpleasant odor coming from the little girl's room. Now, mind you, while the media was picked up on all of this, they did an interview with the mom while she was sitting on the foot of that bed, of Paulette's bed. No. They did a video on camera. This was, I'm assuming sometime between the 21st and the 30th, like between the she goes missing and the interrogations. But like a whole news thing right there. They had all kinds of people in there. They searched everything. You know, the police searched the whole house. They even made the bed, and people slept on that bed at one point. So after they report there being a bad odor from her room, the police were called in to search again, and this time they found Paulette wrapped in a fluid-soaked cloth tucked between the foot of her bed and the bed frame.
What the fuck?
There's no way she was there the whole time. There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, because she'd have been like sticking out of the bed while somebody was laying on it. Like if you go to make the bed and you're like, oh, what's this human leg here? Like what?
I'll put the source for this in the episode notes, but like
I can see
images of like all of it, you know, they're online, and like where the body is, and
I can just picture like one of the housekeepers like going in there and is like, you know, housekeeping, and go in there and see a fucking leg sticking out of the bed.
Well, she was like wrapped up in a blanket or
like that'd be fucked up, dude.
But they never could decide on an official time of death. It's moved back and forth. They said that the kid died from asphyxiation by obstruction of the nasal cavities and thorax abdominal compression. So
she
pretty much it's smothered.
Yeah.
And then
for
whatever reason,
that sounds like she may have been smothered by a pillow too or something.
The police decided to rule it an accidental death. Close the case. Just like that. Yeah, dude.
That's
if you listeners could see the look on Sean's face,
fuck,
that's crazy. Now, like I said, the father, he had money and he was like influential in like the local government and shit right there. So like, there's a chance. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's like the main conspiracy theory on this, you know. But
I wonder if she was like a love child, maybe, or something.
No, only in a way that a husband and wife can love one another.
Well, you said she went to go visit this friend. How many times has she seen this friend?
Yeah. Well, also you got to think maybe like, what if the birth of this child who is, you know, deformed and has all these deficiencies and is disabled, what if that is what drove the wedge between the husband and the wife? You know, and then the husband was just like, I'm gonna take care of it, and then he told the police that, gave them a bunch of money, and they were like, have at it, boss.
Yeah, because when they're disabled, I mean, they're gonna be more to deal with.
Yeah, they're gonna cost you a lot more money. I mean, And that's, I don't know. I've never been put in that situation. You know, like, I know it's hard for people who have disabled relatives that have to be taken care of 24 hours a day. It's got to be taxing on those.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even like taking care of myself 24 hours a day. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I disassociate into this little glass square in my hand. You know what I mean? All right, on to the next one. Jamie Minor. Now, this one's a little less well known, but still pretty damn good. She was fired from her job on May 23rd of 2011. She was at a hotel hanging out with people. They called a taxi for her, you know, because she's like acting all wild and shit, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't there. This is by accounts. So the last time anybody saw her was around 8 p.m. that night. Well, she had gotten fired that day. And I guess she had also taken acid.
Oh.
So
she's like, fuck it, I got fired. It's Friday. I'm fired.
Yeah.
Ain't got shit to do.
Yeah.
Drop me some Sid and have some fun, I guess.
So while she was tripping and pissed off.
Oh, she's in the wrong mindset already.
Yeah. Several weeks later, I'll just skip ahead a little bit. We're going to Tarantino this last part. Several weeks later, a maintenance man found some of her belongings on the floor of one of the Northwood Towers at 7th Street near Congress. So they looked at surveillance footage to see, like, who the fuck belonged. Like, here's all of her shit. Where is she?
Yeah.
And they showed her trying to get into the place to see a friend who worked there still, but she had been kicked out and she was tripping balls. So when she couldn't get in, she tried to do the old Bruce Willis and sneak around through the air vents. And so she crawled up in the air duct, got stuck, and fucking died.
Got to be more careful.
First off, it took them 3 weeks to find her body. Like, it was 3 weeks before they found her. She's just dead in the fucking...
All I can picture is, like, Bruce Willis in the air duct. He's like, come on down, have a party.
Yeah.
With the lighter and shit. That'd be her and her tripping, thinking she's like Bruce Willis.
So from the looks of it, she started tripping, decided to break in and play a prank, see a friend, steal some shit, you know, whatever. And we've both done all of those things, trip. Only we didn't fucking die. Like, so that was Jamie Minor. This next one, Sojin Kato, Kato, Sogenka.
Kato.
This man was thought to be the oldest living man in Tokyo until 2010. They found his corpse in his bedroom. The thing is, he likely died in November of 1978. They didn't find him until 2010, and like he was born in 1899. So like they're like, man, this dude old as fuck. His family just never announced his death. The relatives rebuffed the attempts to see Kato in preparation for Respect for the Aged Day, which is, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's have a holiday for whatever we want. They basically would tell him that, they would tell the officials he's pretty much a human vegetable, or he's becoming Soko Shimbutsu, which is like a living mummy type thing. It's like a Buddhist ritual.
Yeah. It's where you like transcend.
Yeah. Now, they couldn't figure out the cause of death, so it's probably just natural causes. So when this happened, the police realized they did not know if 234,354 people over the age of 100 were still alive. They're like, wait a second, there's over 200,000 people here that it's registered they're over 100 and we don't know if they're fucking alive.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. This is 2010, dog. Like,
yeah.
I guess they don't got social security numbers over there or nothing.
Well, I mean, it's
234,000. It's not like America, there's 350 million people, you know?
Yeah.
And that number's ever fluctuating. Japan? I'm going to give it the old Google.
It is crazy. They don't keep, like, I'm sure they got to keep some type of record. But who knows? I mean, it's different government, so.
Yeah.
I mean, they have records of their dynasties, so I'm sure they got.
There's 124 million people in Japan. So they have, less than half of what the United States have as far as population. But still, like, for record keeping, pretty much, they were we suck at keeping books, which feel you, because paperwork is the bane of my existence. One of his relatives was found guilty of fraud because he was cashing in about $117 $17,000 US, $118,000 of his pension. So he was cashing the pension checks, dog. He
That's
paid
crazy.
it back though, which is crazy.
Yeah, because there's probably punishable by death or something.
So when
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, it's probably worse there. But, you know,
when they finally broke in and they found the corpse, it was laying on a bed wearing underwear and pajamas and was covered with a blanket. So, like, somebody had to know that he died, and they just, like, laid him to rest peacefully.
yeah. He's all shriveled up like a petrified pizza that he left in there.
Yeah, who's still paying rent on that place, dude? Did he just have free rent? Like, who's still paying rent on that?
Yeah.
That shit would never happen in America.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. It happens all the time. Maybe not that fucking long, but still.
That is crazy, though. He's just mummified. He's literally like a Japanese mummified guy on the couch.
So
He's just sitting there chilling, you know.
when they found his body and everything, and they were like looking at the rest of the apartment,
Yeah.
there were newspapers that were found that dated back 3 decades. So, like,
shit.
at least the last time anybody had brought any type of physical media into
It was like
that
30 years
domicile
ago.
was 1970s, you know, the show up period, suggesting that, yeah, the 78. His family must have known he was dead all these years and acted as if nothing happened. It's so eerie. That's a quote from Takamori, M-U-R-O-I. I don't speak Japanese, dog. So they gave the dude 2.5 years suspended for fraud, but he paid back all the money, so he pretty much just got diversion and was sent on his merry.
Oh.
All right, this next one. This one is kind of a favorite of mine, just because it's kind of cool and it's kind of creepy, and there's not really any for sure shit known about it because it happened in the 1940s, you know, so like they weren't exactly great at record keeping in the 1940s. On April 18th, 1943, 4 local boys, Robert Hart, Thomas Willits, Bob Farmer, and Fred Payne, they were bird nesting, they were hunting birds, little birds, in Hagley Wood, part of the estate belonging to Lord Cobham near Wychbury Hill. It's in England. They came across this giant wych elm tree, W-Y-C-H is how it's spelled, which is this giant tree, and they thought, hey, this would be a good spot for looking for bird's nests. So the little farmer kid jumped up and started monkeying around this tree and looked down in the trunk and seen a skull.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, like a fucking skull. At first, he thought it was an animal, but it had human hair and teeth.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and he realized it, and he was like, oh, crap. And they were illegally on the property, so they put the shit back and they all left. They did what a good boy's supposed to do. They put the bones back where they found them and took the fuck off.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Except for that one snitch.
Oh.
There's always one. There's always one snitch.
Probably dry snitching, too. He probably went home.
Yeah, probably went home.
Hey, you wouldn't believe what we found today. Telling on himself or some
Yeah,
shit.
dude. So it says he felt uneasy about what he had witnessed, but come on. He decided to report it, and they checked the trunk of the tree and found almost a complete skeleton with a shoe, a gold wedding ring, and some fragments of clothing.
What? Like stuffed in the tree?
With her. Like her whole
Or like the tree grew
skeleton.
around? Oh, is it
No,
her?
it's stuffed in there. Big old hollow tree is they just stuffed her corpse down in there, dog.
So it was a female corpse.
The skull, you know, it still had a clear dental pattern, even though it was missing some teeth.
Yeah. That's how they found out she was female.
They found the remains of a hand some distance from the tree.
Damn.
They're assuming that it was hers.
Yeah.
You know, I guess it matched. I don't know. They didn't really go into that.
So if they found they might have wedged her in there, and over time, I mean, birds, you know, I mean, they're gonna pick you off.
Yeah.
Her hand probably literally fell off and landed on the ground.
Yeah, probably. It's a weak joint, you know.
Especially if you got crows and stuff, got you know, turkey vultures, all that kind of shit.
It had been in there for 18 months. That corpse had been in there for 18 months.
Golly.
Yeah, because they placed the time of death, given the exposure and all of that, you know, about 1.5 years. That's, you know, and shit, back then people went missing all the time, you know. Sometimes they'd create a new identity and just fucking go be somebody else. You didn't have all this, couldn't be tracked.
She had to be still warm too, though. You know what I mean?
When they put her in there?
Yeah, otherwise rigor mortis would kick in and it'd be like...
Well, rigor mortis isn't permanent either. Like, it goes away after a little bit. But
but
they probably put it fresh in there.
Yeah, because then she'd be stiff, where the terminology stiff comes from.
They also discovered a section of taffeta. It's a crypt, which I had to look it up, so I actually put the definition definition of taffeta in my notes here. A crisp, smooth, plain woven fabric made from silk, nylon, copper-ammonium, rayons, acetate, or polyester. They put it in. They found it in her mouth, and pretty much she died from suffocation. Like they pretty much just shoved a fucking rag in her mouth and called it a day. They couldn't tell exactly what the woman looked like, but so many people were reported missing during the Second World War that, like, especially in England, you know, they're getting the shit bombed out of them all the time.
Not to mention you got Nazis and shit going through there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
she might have knew something or seen something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It might have been at the wrong place at the wrong time is what it sounds like. You know.
The dentistry was distinctive, but, like, they called all the dentists in the area and nobody knew. It wasn't their work, you know, because, like, a dentist kind of has, like, a signature, you know, certain things they do certain ways.
So maybe she was American then?
Nobody knows, really.
Because dentistry over in England is not all that great anyways.
Yeah. Now, they did...
Nothing against the English, but, you know what I mean?
So, in 2018, an episode of the television program Nazi Murder Mysteries described a forensic facial reconstruction undertaken. I'll put some photographs of that in the show notes. But, yeah, I mean, you can't... It's just a person. In 2023, BBC launched an appeal to museums to track down the remains to carry out a DNA sample. The remains had, until the late 60s or early 70s, been in the Birmingham City Police's Black Museum at their Tally-Ho training center.
Tally-Ho!
Tally-Ho! That's why they lost the war, okay? That's why they lost the Revolutionary War. The appeal was made, but so far as I know, it was never approved. So here's the theories. One, she was just a sex worker called Bella. Oh, let me get to she's known as Belle of Witch Elm, or Bella of Witch Elm.
Bella of Witch Elm.
Bella of Witch Elm, yeah.
So she was presumably a lady of the night.
Yeah. There was a sex worker who had gone missing in the area around that time.
Oh.
Whose name was Bella. Now, when they found her body, there was some graffiti not far away, and it said, "Who put Bella in the witch elm?"
Oh, snap.
Yeah, so
that's like...
There's a possibility that whoever wrote that knew who that was, or they could have just made that shit up. Yeah. You never know. Graffiti is one of the last true, art forms.
Yeah.
A second possibility came from a statement by a man named Una Mossop, or a woman named Una Mossop, and she claimed that her ex-husband had confessed to family members that he and a Dutchman called Van Ralt had put the woman in a tree. Mossop and Van Ralt met at a pub and said the woman became drunk and passed out while they were driving, so they put her in a tree and hoped that she would wake up and be frightened, and see the error of her ways, whatever the fuck that means.
So they're trying to scare tactic her and to stop being a lady of the night?
I guess. I don't know if she was a lady of the night or whatever, but it says she got hammered. Jack Mossop was confined to a Stafford mental hospital because he had reoccurring dreams of a woman staring at him out of the tree. He died in the hospital before the body was found.
I bet that tree is hard as fuck. I bet that whole area is probably... There's something shady that happened there.
Basically, though, she didn't come forward with this story until 10 years after dude had died, and he died before the body was found. Another one is the good old MI5 declassified. She could have been a spy,
that's what I was thinking. It's
possible.
Probably been American or something.
Yeah.
We should explain why she has different dental.
Yeah, it would.
From out of country.
All right, this brings me to my last one. Okay, the last one. Figured I'd leave a little funny for the end here. This will be short and sweet. Another bizarre accident from Great Britain. England, man. They just can't get it right. Dental, healthcare, fucking none of it. So basically, this guy's out hunting rabbits, and he uses ferrets and dogs, right? Which,
straight up Elmer
using a ferret to hunt is balls as fuck,
Yeah.
Ferrets are just fucking crazy. I love ferrets, though. Stephen Winfrey, age 50. He's out hunting these rabbits, and it's New Year's Day. And they say, do what you want to do for the rest of the year on New Year's Day. Well, he was out in Doncaster, England, and he didn't come home for lunch. So his family, he didn't come home for lunch. It's not like him. Contrary to what all the fucking television shit says, you do not have to wait 48 hours to report somebody missing. Okay? You don't. So anyway, they report him missing. They go looking for him. And somebody who was looking, found Mr. Winfrey. He had apparently put his head in one of these rabbit holes. And when he found him, He was described to be at a 45-degree angle, curved around the hole. He had a hand coming out of the hole in between his legs. He couldn't see the other hand, and there were scratch marks on the ground. It became obvious that the man was deceased. His boots and jacket were found beside the hole, knives and a net and all of his hunting stuff. His dogs were tied off to a tree. He had a dead rabbit, and there was like a mound of soil next to the hole. So basically,
So he's like real life Elmer Fudd.
he cleaned that hole out a little bit.
Like,
he put
he
his
just-
hand down in there and couldn't get a hold of that rabbit, so he stuck his head down in there and he got fucking stuck. Come on, man. Like, that should have been on last week's Darwin Award. I feel like if you're dumb enough to put your head down in that hole, I'm sure he's done it though 1,000,000 times.
Yeah.
The man's 50, but yeah, he ain't make it. That wascally rabbit whacked his ass. You know what I mean?
For real.
He probably just drug him down in there and held him and was like, fuck you, this is the last time you're gonna hunt my family. Damn. But yeah, I got all the sources for all this. We'll put it in the show notes and whatnot. But yeah, dude, good going tonight.
That shit is crazy.
Yeah.
How you gonna get stuck in that damn rabbit hole?
Yeah.
I got rabbit holes out back in the yard here, man.
Yeah, dog, don't put your head in there.
Like,
No.
I tell the girls, like, be careful, because you can twist your ankle in them.
Yeah, no, for real.
Like, they're fucking big.
My wife's done it a couple times.
I see him at night. I come out here and have a cigarette, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes. I'll be working in the studio. I come out here and have a cigarette. I think it'd be a cat, and it's a fucking rabbit. I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit.
All right. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. Shameless plug in there. Don't forget to check us out. We're on all streaming platforms. Check us out on YouTube at Wicked Paranormal Team. We're going to go do some hunts here before too long, so there'll be some stuff going up there. Check us out on TikTok, also Wicked Paranormal Team, all the socials. I want to give a big shout out and a thank you to our wives,
Yeah.
Nikki and Mary, for being supportive and allowing us to do dumb shit like this at Sean's garage.
Yeah.
And you know, this is for 2 people, the homies that didn't make it and the motherfuckers that said we couldn't. But yeah,
Right.
shout out to the wives too.
Indeed.
Catch you next time.
Until next time.
Ads. If you or anyone you know would like to run an advertisement with us, please reach out to us at Wicked Paranormal Team on YouTube, or you can reach me at ifkawills19 at gmail.